Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. My name is Arthur Nunez Batukal. My report is Choosing on Grade and Cultural Relevant Instructional Materials. Cultural relevant instructional material can improve student learning by acting as mirror and windows. Mirror reflects students' own experience, while windows allow them to connect their own lives to the people, place, idea, and events that have shaped the human experience. So, culturally, instructional material may be teacher approach to teaching that involve building a bridge from student experience in the classrooms. Elements na mababalidate ang kanilang kultura at paniniwala. That materials can allow them na maiko-connect nila ang kanilang mga buhay sa ibang tao, lugar, kaisipan at mga pangyayari that really help human experience. The next reporter is Ma'am Norfaisa Bandrang. She will discuss lesson.
Thank you, Chair Arthur Batukal. Hello, everyone, and hello to our beautiful teacher, Ma'am Mary Feb Rolete. I am Norfaisa Bandrang, your next reporter, and my topic is all about developing on-grade culturally relevant instructional materials in Lesson 4. So what does developing on-grade mean? So here it includes the quizzes, examinations, lab reports, essays, class participation, and the oral presentation ng isang learners. And also, when we say developing on grade, you are guided by the grading system which can be your basis or criteria for grading because grades symbolize the level of achievement of a particular task and communicates both sa iyo at sa iyong mga estudyante. Now, how about the culturally relevant instructional materials? Chair Arthur said earlier that culturally relevant instructional materials can be improved student learning by acting as mirrors and windows because mirror reflects students' own experience, nagre-reflect sa kanilang own experience. At ang windows naman, it allows them to connect their own lives to the people, places, ideas, and events that have shaped the human experience. Also, culturally instructional materials approach to teaching involves the teaching building a bridge from students' experience at home to their experience in the classroom. Especially in today's situation, we are now facing a new normal because of the COVID-19. In the midst of pandemic, we, the learners, find ways to connect to our educator to bring elements in our daily learning and diverse with the respect to levels of difficulty, reader appeal and ability level of the students for whom the materials are selected. We all know that using instructional materials or education resources are very important because it improves the knowledge, abilities, and skills ng isang student or ng isang learners. It also monitors their assimilation of information and contribute to their overall development and upbringing. Indeed, di ba? Kahit tayo ng mga future educator, mas gugustuhin din natin na gumamit ng mga instructional materials or visual aids para naman sa pagtuturo natin, mas naiintindihan palalo ng ating mga mag-aaral kung ano nga ba ang mga itinuturo natin sa kanila. Mas napapadali ang pag-iintindi nila sa isang bagay o lesson kung meron silang nakikita sa kanilang harapan na mas nauunawaan nila itong intindihin. And that's my report. Chair Ella Grace Cadorna, Crystalline Baran, and Chair Shannon Benito will be reporting the lesson.
Hi everyone, I am Crystalline Ann Baran, your second to the last reporter of Group 2.
Language Teaching and Learning Strategies for Speaking. TED, or Technology Entertainment Design, talks how became viral nowadays. This revolution in education revived the power of storytelling to disseminate ideas and innovation in many aspects of life. Effective speaking skills is requisite to powerful oral presentation. Speaking is an interactive process of making meaning that includes producing, receiving, and processing information by Brown, 1994. Oral language or OL. Phonological awareness or PA. Vocabulary and concept development or VCD. And grammar awareness or GA are four of the language domains related to speaking. 4 notes card about principles and approaches in the teaching of speaking. Topic 1. Proficiency orientation teaching of speaking skills. Opportunities must be provided for students to carry out a practice using the language in a range of contexts likely to be encountered in the target culture. Opportunities should be provided for students to carry out a range of functions necessary for dealing with others in the target culture. The development of accuracy should be encouraged in proficiency-oriented instruction. As learners produce language, various forms of instruction and evaluative feedback can be useful in facilitating the progression of their skills towards more precise and coherent language use. Instruction should be responsive to the affective as well as the cognitive needs of students, as their different personalities, preferences, and learning styles should be taken into account. Culture understanding must be promoted in a various way so that students are sensitive to other culture and prepared to live more harmoniously in the target language community. Topic 2. Current approaches to the teaching of speaking. Speaking and oral interaction is seen as the basis for learning. Non-native usage as well as native usage both serves as models. Both accuracy and fluency are primary goals with a greater tolerance of errors. Oral proficiency is viewed as dependent upon mastery of lexical phrases and conversational routine. Topic 3. Case study on Singapore School teaching of Tamil language. Use local context-based materials so that the topics are familiar to the students. Use domain-based vocabulary, that is word as they are used in real, everyday living. Use age-related content, that is topics that are relevant to the student at their particular stage in life. Topic 4. Balance between fluency and accuracy in the teaching of speaking. According to Suzy 2013, learners' activity should be designed based on an equivalence between fluency and accuracy achievement. Both fluency and accuracy are important elements of communicative approach. Hedge 2000 expressed that fluency is the ability to answer coherently by connecting the words and phrases, pronouncing the sound clear and using stress and intonation. The second characteristic of speaking performance is accuracy. Learners should pay enough attention to the exactness and the completeness of language form when speaking, such as focusing on grammatical structures, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Macizo 2013. To gain accuracy in terms of vocabulary means to select suitable words in the suitable context. Our next topic is language teaching and learning strategies for reading. Reading is a macro skill in an interactive process that involves the reader, the text, and the writer. Gidman 2005 specifically defines reading as a process of relating written symbols to oral language and constructing meaning from written text. In simple words, reading involves decoding the written text and making sense and deriving meaning from the printed word. From the definition of reading, the two basic processes in the reading were highlighted: decoding and comprehension. Decoding is the ability of the individual to figure out the pronunciation of printed words, and ultimately determine the word meaning. On the other hand, comprehension is the ability to construct meaning by interacting with a text. Early reading instruction is focused on decoding, and as a child progresses in his or her reading, the focus shifts from decoding to comprehension. The curriculum for mother tongue reflects the competencies needed by a child to successfully decode and comprehend printed text using his or her mother tongue. There are some of the language domains in the mother tongue curriculum directly related to the reading. Language domain, content, performance standard, and competency. Number 1. Phonological skills. Uses developing vocabulary in both oral and written form. Gives the beginning letter or sound of the name of each picture. Number 2. Phonics and word recognition. Values reading and writing as a communicative activities. Reading grade level text with appropriate speed. Fluency. Read the sufficient speed, accuracy, and proper expression in reading grade level. Uses expression appropriate to the grade level to react to local news, information, and propaganda about school, community, and other local activities. Number 4. Reading comprehension. Demonstrates knowledge of the alphabet and decoding to read, write, and spell word correctly. Show love for reading by listening attentively during story reading and making comments or reactions. Number 5. Vocabulary and concept development. Demonstrate understanding that words are made up of sound and syllables and uses this knowledge to discriminate and manipulate sound patterns. Note important details in the grade level, narrative, or informational text. Number 6. Attitude towards reading. Comprehends and appreciate grade level narrative and informational text. Uses the combination of affixes and root words as clues to get the meaning of word. According to Lenters 2004 to 2005, for someone to be able to read, one has to understanding the alphabet, decode, develop sight vocabulary to read fluently, develop strategies to help with comprehension and fluency, read texts that match his or her reading level and interest, and engage in extensive reading. These are the fundamentals of reading that you always need to remember when you are prepare a lesson on reading. This list is consistent with the language domains and competencies in the mother tongue curriculum. So that's all. Thank you.
The three major approaches in the teaching of reading to young learners. First is phonics. Phonics approaches have consistently been found to be effective in assisting younger readers to master the fundamentals of reading with an average impact of 4 months progress. According to research, phonics is especially beneficial for younger learners 4 to 7 years old as they begin to read. Next is whole language. Whole language approaches is a method of teaching children to read by recognizing words as whole pieces of language. Proponents of the whole language philosophy believe that language should not be broken down into letters and combination of letters and decoded. Instead, they believe that language is a complete system of making meaning, with words functioning in relation to each other in a context. The third is language experience. The language experience approach is a whole language approach that promotes reading and writing through the use of personal experiences and oral language. It can be used in tutorial or classroom settings. Now let's proceed to the language teaching and learning strategies for writing. So we all have struggled with writing. It is true that writing may be considered as one of the most complex among the macro skills because behind the need of the writer to express his or her thought and emotion in words, the skill also requires other elements in writing such as the accuracy in grammar, punctuation, and spelling. In this lesson, we will focus on the teaching of emergent writing for emergent writers. Lately, we discussed the different strategies that we can adapt in teaching writing for the mother tongue. It is equally important that we are fully aware of the emergent stages in writing. So there's 6 stages of emergent writing. First is drawing and imitative writing. In this type of early writing, the child writes a message with scribbling that imitates grown-up writing. So this is the example of drawing and imitative writing. It shows individuality and an attempt to communicate with others. Second is copying words. The child copies words from familiar resources like books, posters, and word walls. This picture is the example of copying words. The writing makes sense and shows knowledge of letter formation and the concept of words. Third is drawing and strings of letters. In this type of early writing, the child writes random letters, but the letters have no relationship to sounds. So this is the sample pictures of drawing and strings of letters. So the writer is aware that print and art convey meaning. Fourth is early phonetic writing. So the early phonetic writing is the child writes words to represent words and sounds. This picture is the example of early phonetic writing. So the writer is aware that print and art convey meaning. Fifth is phonetic writing. So the phonetic writing is the child writes words using letters to represent each sound that is heard. So this is the example of the phonetic writing. So the words make sense and may be used for writing longer texts. And the last is conventional writing. Conventional writing, the writing shows an emerging voice of the writer. This picture is the example of conventional writing. So the child focuses on a topic and uses close to correct copy. The writing demonstrates an emerging voice.